Hello, my name is Gabi, and this year for my honors research in science project, I worked on a demographical study of the North Carolina state voter file. And I really had an incredible experience working on this project and kind of crafting it and creating a project that I believe is very, very important, especially at this point in history, and something that I am really excited to show you. So I started off on the North Carolina State Board of Elections website, where I found their publicly downloadable voter roll. And this is a voter roll with a lot of people's personal information. But when you register to vote in the state of North Carolina, you are automatically opting into this file. So I had a lot of information to work with. I downloaded this as a text file, and then I started working in Python with this text file. And so I read in the file and I started creating all sorts of counts. And I was creating counts of a bunch of things. I was creating counts of how many African American registered people there are in a county, how many active voters per county, how many Republican registrants per county, all sorts of things. And I was kind of using this as a time to clean up this file, take out things I didn't need to work with, figure out what these variables meant. I mean, there were all of these, as you can see highlighted over here, W's and numbers and A's, and I had to kind of go deep into some code books online to figure out what those meant. So once I had all of that done, I had all of these counts ready, and I imported that as a spreadsheet into Google Sheets. And there are 100 counties in North Carolina, so as you can see here, there are a lot of numbers that I was working with. Half of these numbers came from the analysis that I just showed you in Python, and kind of creating these counts of total registrants, of total black registrants, of total removed registrants per county. I then added some more information into here, and that was the census data that the Census Bureau publishes online about each of the counties in North Carolina. And so I manually entered all of that data into this sheet for every county, and those were things like population estimates and percentage of people under 18 in the county and percentage of people in poverty. And I used all of those numbers to kind of craft these approximate voting age populations. Voting age population is also known as VAP, which is a very important piece of data used in research like mine. And so it was really important to me to get to kind of what I believed were accurate numbers for the voting age population per county in North Carolina. And so I created those counts, and I used the approximate voting age population counts in conjunction with the number of registered people per county to find proportions of people registered per county. And so I was doing a lot of calculations. I was finding the proportion of people registered, the proportion of registrants without IDs, the proportion of people registered who were removed for felony convictions, and all sorts of things. And I found all of these numbers and proportions, and then I started running some statistical tests. And I basically used those statistical tests so that I could craft maps displaying the results that were found to be statistically significant. So I exported this as a CSV, and I started working in processing. And in processing, I was using the GeoMap library to import a map of North Carolina per county and be able to visualize all of this data per county. So we can look a little bit at my code. I basically am setting each of the counties to be a specific color using this LORP color feature. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So this is my first map, and this map is displaying the difference between black and all voters who are removed for felony convictions. Felon disenfranchisement is a big deal, something that states have kind of battled with, and I just wanted to show how many people were removed for felony convictions, what the difference is between the black population and the total population, and what the party preferences and party leanings of the states, of the counties with the largest differences were. So as you can see, these outlines represent the party with more registered voters in that county. And so you can see that party preference, and with this key, you can kind of see what each of the percentages mean, and then you can scroll over each county to see the name displayed and the percentage difference displayed. My second map is a map of black registrants who don't have government issued ID, which is very important, specifically in North Carolina, which is a state that has been trying to push forward voter ID laws for years. Courts continue to strike them down, but they continue to reemerge, and lawmakers really push for voter ID laws. And so I thought it was crucial to show how these laws are disproportionately affecting African American communities. And as you can see, the majority of the state has very high populations and percentages of black registrants without government issued ID. So counties have upwards of 61% of black registrants who do not have a government issued ID. My third map I created is the difference between the black voting age population that is registered and the total voting age population that is registered. I hypothesized that black communities would have lower percentages of the voting age population registered than total voters, and therefore there would be a greater difference. I also hypothesized that this difference would be even larger in Republican-leaning counties, and so as you can see, the counties are once again outlined depending on the party preference, and this gray color is representative of a negative difference, so places where all voters had a lower percentage registered than black voters. And my final map is a map depicting the difference between black and all voters in terms of being removed from the voter roll for a reason other than death. And voter roll purges are a large problem that suppress the vote of many people, specifically when a state doesn't have same-day registration. And so I wanted to just show that. And as you can see, there are a lot of counties that actually have a negative difference, but it was still statistically significant that counties with the highest percentage differences tended to be Republican-leaning counties. So that is what I've been working on this year. I really enjoyed all of this work. I'm really passionate about voter suppression and education and really restoring the right to vote to all sorts of people, whether that be ending felon disenfranchisement, abolishing voter ID laws, and just removing all of the barriers that are affecting all people, but specifically traditionally marginalized communities. And so being able to do that through code has been incredible, and I hope you enjoyed.